So they're desperate. Who cares if scum that call everybody racist keeps saying this? Now, I get, though, canceling some of the meetups as she just went around the country to interview locals, to interview Americans. InfoWars is so big, she could just go to a park and everybody loves her, black, white, Hispanic, old, young. That's the good news. She was having little meetups to run into cool people that wanted to show us their business or show us their cows or show us their factory. Great hit show, tens of millions of viewers for Flyover America, just an internet show that we do to show how great America is and bring us together. So here is a CBS clip piece, is an example of how they're targeting even mainline Republican meetings now to bully everyone into going under the cultural left's control, where they will then say, okay, we won't call you names and send Antifa murderers to come after you if you submit and worship us in the racketeering operations that are CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, MSNBC, and the other criminal organizations of known liars committed to lying to the American people and destroying our republic. Here's the clip.
A lot of attention since its East End offices first opened, but now this building is scheduled to be the target of an alt-right rally scheduled for this Saturday.
So far, people have been shocked. They had no idea that this was taking place.
Attorney and community activist Felicity Williams learned about the planned rally on the internet. A Facebook page for Flyover America announced Google offices here were included in a list of planned rallies for the weekend. Her concern: was the city prepared after watching what happened this past weekend in Charlottesville?
I hope that they are taking the necessary steps to prepare, because again, as I said, I'm pretty sure Charlottesville didn't anticipate what happened there happening in their city.
Google is actually private property, according to the city, and so far no permit has been requested. Police will monitor any protest and take necessary precautions. Word of the planned rally is just beginning to spread in the area.
I'm concerned. I mean, we live in a place where everyone should have freedom of speech, but it's not right. So just because you have the right to say what you want, you shouldn't.
I'm French, and in France, we are aware to protest about everything, and when we want, we can protest.
The Flyover America Facebook page is already getting reactions to the idea of coming to Pittsburgh. Those opposed to the rally are hoping to bring interested parties together to come up with a plan on how to address any issues that may arise.
We want to make sure that whatever action we plan, that we are keeping people safe, but we are still able to exercise our rights and to make a statement against this coming to Pittsburgh.
Now, that's pretty mild compared to MSNBC and the scum I was talking about earlier, saying Trump's a Hitler, Trump's a Nazi. That's what I'm about scum. These are useful idiot folks for the globalists that just buy into because they say flyover country and then, connect it to what happened in Charlottesville, that somehow people are coming with their Nazi flags or something there. When the Google demonstrations were announced on InfoWars 2 weeks ago by Mike Cernovich to unify everybody against internet censorship. But again, everyone getting into this and panicking about it is exactly what the globalists want. We need to continue demonstrations against Google. When I get back to Austin, I'm going to do one at Google. Oh my gosh, in America, I'm going to go down there and do it because it has to be done. We have to exercise our free speech. We have to expose that Google is censoring us in cyberspace, and we have to sue them. So I guess they'll call my lawsuit, KKK or something, because we're battling the KKK. So we're going to skip this break so we have more time. Corsi's popping in for 5 minutes at the start of the next hour to get into just briefly to the whole Arpaio situation and his article on Infowars.com. But this is information warfare. This is success. Millie, what you've gone through being pepper sprayed, attacked, is much, much worse than just disinfo in the media. This is what the left does, is project onto everyone that they're racist. I mean, what do you expect them to do?
Well, I don't expect them to do anything different than what they're doing. However, what has alarmed me about what we're seeing with this march on Google in Pittsburgh and all the mainstream media coverage that has been very deceptive as painting this as an alt-right protest, what's alarming me is that it's the exact same thing I saw leading up to the Charlottesville protest at the Unite the Right rally, and the media coverage and the spin and the city planners.
But I mean, a Nazi collaborator runs the left. I mean, they're going to do evil stuff. That's what they do, and they love if it alarms people. They go, oh, we'll say more. They'll even target you specifically and say you've killed children. That's what they do.
Exactly, and what they did in Charlottesville was just a test, and now they want to duplicate that and repeat it over and over again across the United States. They've proven that they were successful in getting away with demonizing. And yes, there were some racist and extreme elements that you don't typically see out there on the right, voicing some pretty bigoted things. And I disagree with it. And most of the Trump supporters out there,
the more you say you disagree, the more you say you disagree, the more they'll say you said Heil Hitler. These are lying scum that funded the Arab Spring to kill over 1 million people. They know full well they're leading that group in Charlottesville. They're running it. They always run it. It always comes out. Like Trump said, the attack on the Jewish centers. He said, that's the left to blame me. And it turned out it was true, Millie.
Well, I think it is to blame the right. I mean, and I think that this next march on Google has been hijacked by the deep state. I have a statement here from the mayor of Pittsburgh, and he even says in his statement that he has been monitoring social media and intelligence reports regarding potential right-wing protests this weekend in Pittsburgh. So he's talking about being briefed by intelligence. Now, let me remind you guys, this Flyover America
all the police
event,
departments have an intelligence group.
Yeah, and this
that's part of police departments. I mean, intelligence is just going and reading the internet. But yeah, that's what I'm saying, Millie. We're in a war. We're taking America back. They're going to frame all of us getting out on the street and taking action and getting attention as evil so they can censor us in the real world, in the third dimension, and also censor us online.
Exactly. And they want us to react by going out there to stand up for the First Amendment. But essentially, they're just going to use it to demonize Trump. And then if they can successfully demonize Trump over the appearance of a divided nation, they will accomplish a win for whoever the next radical leftist progressive is that runs in 2020. So they're wanting us to win on the streets so that they can then win in the voter booth. And that's why I did put out a video
Millie, it's a
saying,
little more complex in my view than that. See, they told Trump to stop having rallies. He wouldn't be president right now. They said, there's violence at your rallies. They're blaming it on you. They're saying you're a racist. You need to stop the rallies. And if he would have done that, he would have lost. I mean, I understand we've got to be wise about these things, but we've got to document who does what. We know what to watch for. Most of these events, we end up catching them before they even do it. I don't think it's good to do it in Democrat-controlled cities. You need to find out if the cops are going to protect you or stand down. I think you should, on both sides, investigate and look at the angles. But if we say that, well, oh, they've got the propaganda upper hand, and so we can't ever go out and demonstrate because they'll say we're a bad person, they're going to say that in cyberspace and ban us there. Do we then stop being in cyberspace? Because, yes, they will not say anything about you if you never speak again. If you get off the internet and if you get off the streets and if you just go submit, they will leave you alone. That is true.
Yeah, I mean, we do have to fight for the First Amendment. We do have to go out there and voice our concerns. But as far as I'm saying with these particular events, it looks like Deep State has hijacked it, and I'm really worried.
Well, of course, no, Millie, I'm not mad at you. I'm just frustrated. Of course they've tried to hijack it. But just because they engage us doesn't mean they've hijacked it. Then they'll spin it, oh, the right wing's not going to protest anymore because they believe they'll get blamed. Of course we launch Google protest, and they're scared of it because they don't want antitrust lawsuits, and they don't want Americans coming together against their violations of free speech and Chinese-style net censorship. You're absolutely right, Millie, that they are hijacking it. That's why we've got to get more involved than ever and expose what they're doing. And everybody should just go out to Google at all times of the day, stand up and do live feeds in front of them, talking about the censorship they've done. They can't stop individuals randomly going and doing things everywhere peacefully. They're scared of us. That's why they staged this in Charlotte. That's why they're going, oh, alt-right was coming to your town, even though Cernovich said 9 months ago, I am not alt-right. Don't give me that name, Hillary. I said that too. I said, we're the new right. And I'm not even that. The reason I'm going wild here is we've already been through all this before. We've already gone out. I've already been at countless demonstrations. I've already clashed with the communists. I've already had the news say racist Alex Jones was out there attacking innocent people. But the public knows they're liars, Billy, and we get stronger because we don't let them break our will. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. And I do think the public needs to be made more aware, and we need to literally get on the bullhorn and scream about how Antifa are terrorists, going out, making threats, thinking that they can just show up and cause violence, attack people, and then they can successfully shut down free speech. Now, we have these democratic cities with these liberal mayors that are going to have their police stand down, and it's going to be the same thing with Charlottesville, where you have elements of the right and the left clashing.
You did a great job. Gavin did a great job. You get 50 gold stars here. Exactly. What I'm saying is let's not let them grab victory from the jaws of their defeat. You, as a woman with just a camera guy, I don't expect you. And I've said, don't go to these things if you think they're dangerous. Reassess. If you're just going to, hey, meetup group, let's go out in front of Google and just meet, knowing 10 guys are going to show up, 10 people, just friendly folks. Hey, we want free speech. You are absolutely right. We have to plan this out more now because they've created a climate of anti-free speech, and that you at a gut level, know you shouldn't go to Google by yourself with just you and Gavin. I totally and completely agree with your gut level. I'm just saying we have to continue to plan even bigger demonstrations at Google now more than ever, and be very clear and use the publicity we'll get at these events to point out what really happened and take the narrative back from them. It's by engaging, but engaging smartly, that we do it. Now tell folks about Flyover Country and how folks can follow us right there on Facebook.
Well, Flyover America was designed to basically go around and give Trump supporters, deplorables that have been demonized by the mainstream media, an opportunity to tell them their side of the story because of all the media demonization of Trump supporters, saying that they're all racist bigots and horrible people. So that's what we were doing. We had already had multiple events, and, you know, the InfoWars listeners and Trump supporters showed up.
Horrible events with whites and blacks and Hispanics eating barbecue together and playing music and having fun, and little kids and puppy dogs. Dozens and dozens of videos with millions of views, good wholesomeness, and that's why they watched you, who you were, and knew you were good and wanted to go lie about you because they don't like the fact you're good. And they're the bad people, not you, Millie.
Exactly. And they want to essentially shut down our Flyover America tour because they think if they can show up to all of our meet and greet events and terrorize people, then they can stop us from getting that message out.
But Millie, the Antifa
important.
is very slow. It takes them a week to get going. They didn't even show up the first night at the thing in Charlottesville. You're going to be fine. Probably not at the Google. You're probably smart to, you know, hold back at that one or just cover it or whatever. But I'm just saying, overall, you don't have to lead the thing. You're doing a great job. Just report on it. Just break it down. We love having you on every day. It's such a great idea you guys had for Flyover America, and you and Gavin. Who had the idea? Was it you or Gavin?
It was kind of a mutual idea between the both of us. And by no means am I going to just quit and give up on the First Amendment and the right for peaceful protest. I'm going to be out there peacefully protesting.
You're raising the alarm that they're stealing your identity. You're raising the alarm that they're trying to steal our identity and frame us like the evil always does. And I totally agree. And we've had a discussion about all angles. I agree with you. You agree with me. I'm just really pissed off right now about them lying about all of us. And you're awesome. Now, coming up, Dr. Corsi, a bunch of other big guests with Owen Schroyer straight ahead, Infowars.com/show. But pray for everybody out there on the front line, the reporters like Millie and Gavin that got pepper sprayed to bring you the truth.